What's good, family? How you been? Know it's been a minute. You know what I mean? It's been the holidays and all that. So, you know, we getting a substantial amount of requests to make videos and keep being consistent. That's my issue with consistency. But this video I'm making is really important because it explains the dynamics of being a free man in America, especially a free black man. So, excuse me. So, you know, I've never been to prison, thank God. I'm 39 years old. I was born in 1986. God willing, I'll be 40 in a couple of months. So, I was telling my daughter's 20, thank God. I was telling her, I said, your dad's 39 years old, never been shot, never been to prison. So I must not be too stupid. And I say that because the older you get, you realize how precious life is and how easy it is to get into trouble and how hard it is to get out. Now, like I said before, I've never been to prison, thank God. Never been shot, thank God. You know, been sliced, been stabbed, regular shit. Not regular, but you know what I mean. But you know, it's easy to get in trouble. It's easy to go to jail. It's hard to stay free. Because to stay free, you have to be smart, you have to be disciplined, you have to be responsible, you have to be mature, you have to be cautious, you have to be instinctive. You have to be blessed, and you got to be positive. You know, there's a lot of brothers that got past this because I was a father. There's a lot of people that I wanted to, exert anger, vengeance, pettiness, whatever you want to call it, that could have landed me in a lot of trouble. There's times I had to swallow my pride and do things that I thought I would never have to do. But it kept me out of the mix. It kept me out of trouble. I went to college, 18, full scholarship for basketball. But by then, I didn't know it. I was a full-blown alcoholic, just living every day to drink, not going to class, going to practice, playing ball, but, I didn't know it. But I was already an alcoholic. I met my children's mother. She got pregnant while we was in college. She was a senior at the time. I was a freshman. Yeah, I was that dude. It's like, nah. But she was graduating. She had a career lined up. So, we decided to give our child what we never had, and that was two parents in the household. So, like I said, my oldest daughter is 20 years old. I have two other daughters and a son, all with the same mother that I met in college, and I was there for each one of my children's births, all the way to now. And I told the line, especially when I was younger. Just being a young dad, depressed about college, not working out, and of course I'm drinking crazy, running the streets. But as much as I was bad, I wasn't evil. And that's what kept me from crossing the line. My conscience, my conscience kept me from going but so far. And even if I did go far, my conscience would eat me up about it so hard, so bad, that I ain't want to feel that feeling again. You know, empathy. Empathy is a lost art, and it's something that we all need in this world. You know, and it's so crazy that we're not empathetic towards each other, but when God is so empathetic to us, He forgives us all the time for our madness. You know. But getting back to my original point, you got to be smart. You know, to stay alive, to stay free. You know, I used to tell my uncle when I was younger. I used to always make fun of him because he's my oldest uncle, and I'd be like, "You old man, blah blah blah," and he will always say the same response to me. He would say, you have to be smart to get old." Same response every time. And the older I got, you know, I understood that. You know, I started losing friends at an early age. The first real person that I knew that passed away was my boy, rest in peace, Half. I was 18. I was in college, and he got caught up for some carjacking, blah blah blah. Long story short, he got locked up. He got some years, wasn't even that many years, but it was a lot for that time, and he ended up killing himself in jail. I don't know if he killed himself or, you know, it was some foul play, but that was the first time I lost somebody that I really, really knew. You know, growing up, you know, people die, like, oh, this person died, but like that was the first time a real friend. And then right after that, my teammate got killed. Mind you, I'm in the car with him. And that's another video I'll tell at another time. But I'm in the car with him. I'm in the passenger seat, the shotgun seat. He's in the back seat. We're waiting on our other teammate, who's the driver, whose car it is, to come. We were waiting so long for him after the club that my rambunctious ass said, "I'll go get him." And I hopped out the passenger seat, went to the front of the club, to the crowd, to go find him. And they started shooting in the parking lot. So they pushed us all back in the club because we were all college students, of course, at the time. And I guess they made us wait in the club for 10 minutes. And then when we came back out, somebody ran up to me and my other teammate and said a basketball player got shot. So we run down, come to find out, my teammate, Tafari Berriman, that was in the back seat behind me, ended up getting into the front seat that I was sitting in, and then I guess me and my other teammate Aaron crossed paths without seeing each other, and he got into the car, and it was a whole altercation with Latin Kings, and they ended up, you know, shooting Tafari, and he ended up dying, man. That's to this day, that's one of the saddest things I've ever had to witness and be a part of. I still have his picture. You know, 20 years later, I still have his picture in my wallet. I always switch it with every wallet I get. But it's just examples of how blessed you are. If you're watching this video right now, if you're alive and well, and you're watching this video right now, you are so blessed. But let me get back to the original point of that's staying alive. You know what I mean? I'm talking about just staying free. You know what I mean? Because you got to look at the world like a video game. You know what I mean? Like there's obstacles and pits to, you know, thwart you if you don't play the game right. And that's how it is. It's so easy, especially as a man, period, you know, but especially as a black man. We all know that. But anyway, just talking about a person, period, especially men, especially young men, you know, you have to have discipline. You have to be able to tell yourself no. You have to be able to tell yourself to shut up. You have to be able to tell yourself it's not worth it. There's nothing cool about going to jail. There's nothing cool about another man telling you to bend over while you're naked and cough. There's nothing cool with another man wanting to take your manhood, or you taking another man's manhood. There's nothing cool about it. And I'm from that. I'm from, yeah, you know what I mean, the block. I'm from all that. Asked about me. I got, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I was on the block. But when it was time for me to get off the block, I took the opportunity. You know, I had a second daughter on the way. One of my OGs from the block was like, man, come work with me. Because I always stayed around older people. Because I was living a more mature life. I'm 19 years old, you know, paying rent. Got a woman living with me, our daughter, you know what I mean? So my mindset had to be a little bit, as much as I love my dudes that were my age, we were living in two different dimensions. So I gravitated to people older than me, especially too because I had a father and his friends and all that. I always gravitated to older guys. So he took me under the wing and was like, yo, come work with me. And he worked at a restaurant. And I was like, man, I can't work at no restaurant. He was like, yes, you can. That's why I came at you. So I took the opportunity. It was very challenging in the beginning, but I ended up becoming, you know, the best employee at that spot. I made a lot of money, and it kept me out the mix. You know, I would get phone calls from my OG that got me the job, and he always tell me what happened on the block. He would call me at work, you know what I mean? Like, yo, tell Les to get on the phone. I get on the phone. He like, yo, guess what? This and this and I got robbed, or this and this and got shot, or this and this. And I avoided so much mess because I swallowed my pride. I got off the block. I went to the restaurant. And all my boys are dope boys. All my friends, all my best friends, all the ones I grew up with, kindergarten, they all dope boys. They get money. Like, I remember one time, I'm at the restaurant, right? So a trail of like 15 dudes come in. You feel me? All hood ninjas. They got the whole place shook. Right? Everybody's quiet. Everybody's staring at them. They walking in there like the bosses that they are. Why this my whole hood? Why is all my friends? So now they walking in here, everybody staring at them, and then they coming up to me clapping me up. So I'm clapping up all 15, you. And they're looking at me like, my coworkers looking at me like, yo, I'm like, yeah, those are my boys. Like, those are my best friends. Like I told y'all, I just, you know, I'm a father. I ain't got no time to be out there with them crazy fools. You know, and my boy, one of my boys that I started in kindergarten with, he was shot up. You know what I mean? He came and he just got out the hospital. He had the colostomy bag, all that. So it's just, it was more evidence that, you know, even though I'm not, quote unquote, living a lifestyle that they are, I'm living good. You know what I'm saying? I'm living good. And that's one thing that we have to understand. Like, ain't nothing wrong with balling, but you got to be patient with it. And there's levels to balling. Ain't no balling in jail. Is that real balling? I mean, don't get me wrong, you can do it, but come on, compared to just being in the living room with your girl, watching a movie, you feel me? Or you know, to be going to a game, or of course, doing anything with your children, you have to be vigilant. You have to catch your anger. See, a man cannot be emotional, man. He can't be a man has to be unemotional but compassionate at the same time. If that makes sense. You have to be able to control your emotions, but you also have to have compassion. People have given me passes the same way I've given people passes. They've given me passes, man. I know I got a couple of passes when I was all drunk out here wilding. I'm 6'7", man. I'm very intimidating. So, you know, niggas don't fight me fair. I haven't had a fair fight since I've been the first time, you know, I was 12 years old. Dude was 17. I'm like, dude, like, I know they're like, yo, he's a kid. They're like, oh. But I'm just saying, like, you know, there's been plenty of times where, and that's why having God first and really having faith in God is so important. Because if you truly have faith in God, that God is taking care of you, then you ain't tripping off nothing. If I got to bring a gun, I'm not going. I don't want to go. Why do I have to bring a gun to go out? To be around what? You know what I mean? You have to raise your standards. And you got to raise your standards in what you do, and most importantly, you have to raise your standards in who you are. Certain things just got to be beneath you now, and it ain't about being bougie, it's about being godly. God is order. God is cleanliness. God is patience. God is forgiveness. And I understand growing up in the environment that we grow up in, but even in growing up in the environment that I'm growing in, you got to know how to move. You got to be smart, man. Y'all niggas ain't smart, and that's why y'all be falling. You got to know that a dude might be funny style. Because, all right, boy, I put it to you like this. You don't care how you treat people in the outside when you're free, but you're going to have to care how you treat people when you in the inside. You're going to have to adapt to people and get along with different people, because you might die. Or you might have to kill somebody because of the way you said something or treated them. Nobody has more respect than people that are in jail. And it's funny, what gets them in jail is being disrespectful on one way and another. But once you get there, you got to be the most respectful you ever been. Because if not, your life is on the line. So you could take that same energy before the punishment. You don't have to be punished. You don't have to hit rock bottom before you change. If you got a kid, man, that's all you need to know. That's all you need is your baby now. And if you got to do a job that you don't want to do or become something, that's God's favor. He got you. Be patient, man. It's a long life. Like I said, I'm 39, man. I'm 39 years old. Never been to prison. I watched all my children be born. I was there for every event, everything. They call me right now. I'm available. And trust me, it wasn't easy, but it damn sure was worth it. God got y'all. Love y'all. One.